Alright guys, good morning. This is Big John with Sasquatch Airsoft. Today we're going to be doing something that I haven't done before, a little bit of teching. We're going to be talking about hop-ups and flat hops specifically. I'm doing this because a buddy of mine I was trying to tell him about flat hops and how superior they are to a regular hop-up. When I did the flat hop, it completely changed my experience. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to do that. Yeah, stick by. So what you're going to need is you're going to need your hop up. You're going to need your barrel. And you're going to need your bucking of choice, whatever it might be. You're also going to need the spring that goes on the barrel. You're going to need a flat nub. Notice how it has the flat bottom to it. You're going to need a small flathead screwdriver. And you don't need this, but I always use a small hex key. It just makes things a little bit easier. And what you're going to do is you're going to take off your barrel clip right there. You're going to use the flathead screwdriver to do that. I can't really do it on camera, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. Alright, so we have our clip off. We got that off. Then we're going to pull this out. You also want to pull the spacer out as well, because you're going to need that out when you go to install the barrel and bucking. Alright, so I got the spacer out, I got the barrel out, I got my bucking ready. Now this bucking is a Modify flat hop bucking. This one's specifically made for flat hop. Nothing too special about it. It's not what I use, but this is what you need. And then you also need the Modify, or at least the brand I went with was the Modify flat nub. You can kind of see the profile of that right there. Yeah. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're going to take that little pin out. You might need the screwdriver for this. And then there you have access to the actual nub area, that concave spot right there, where the nub itself goes. You also have the pin here that I talked about. I pushed it out with this Allen key. It just makes it a lot easier. You also have your hop-up arm right here. And what that does is this notch in the back goes into the, let's see if I can get it here. There's a channel there we go. It goes into that channel, and by twisting it, it actually moves the hop up and down. If you can see, it disappeared. There's the other side of that channel. It sits a lot higher than the other area. Now what you're going to do is you're going to install your barrel and bucking first. So there we have the bucking installed on the barrel. Now, like I said, this is a Modify flat type bucking. I use a Maple Leaf Macron bucking because inside that bucking, unlike this one, there is a little, there's actually an additional little nub installed in that bucking. This is just a pretty standard way of doing it, though. This will get you on the road to success, and after that, you can play around with buckings, different ones. And there we have the bucking and barrel half installed. You want to make sure that it's not too hard to get in, and if it is, you want to back it out and kind of try and finagle it back in there without it grabbing or pulling, because you don't want to tear that bucking. Remember, line side up where that little notch is. This is a G&G hop-up. Just for reference, they are a little bit different than the other ones, some of the other standard ones, but I do like this hop-up a lot. But yeah, line side up, and then reinstall the spacer and the clip, the barrel clip. You can go ahead and push that in a little more too. I'll do that off camera. Now you're going to go ahead and take your nub and you're going to install it in the hop up on top of the bucking. Sorry, I had to blow that hair off of there. If you can see the buckings right there and the windows right there, you're going to put it flat side down. Alright, now you can see that I have the flat hop in there. It's covering all of the hop window. And that's in place correctly. Now, the tricky part is getting this arm seated into that notch the correct way and then inserting the pin. This is going to be the hardest part of the whole process. Side note, I think it's a lot easier if you have the hop up dial turned all the way up when you do this, just because the channel is most accessible for the angle that you need to finagle that little nub in the back in. Alright, so I've got the arm in the channel. If you can see, it's bouncing the way it should be. If you can see through that hole, you can start to see the window starting to open, so that you can insert the rod through. So off camera, I'm going to go ahead and get this in the correct position. Now, I had to use the screwdriver. Once this hop up arm is in that notch, you can kind of let it go. But what I did was I inserted the pin kind of sort of on this side, and I held it there with my finger. Meanwhile, with the other hand, grabbed my flathead here and pushed down on the front spot of the arm here so that I could get the holes to line up in the right position. I've noticed that that's pretty consistent with most hop-ups. Excuse me, that's kind of the way I've had to go about doing it for most hop-ups. Now, if you can see, I have this set to no hop. Let me go ahead and turn it. Now you should be able to see the nub actually doing its thing. It's flat. It's not like they usually are. Let's turn it back. Let's see if we can compare it. See how you can hardly see that nub coming down? It makes a whole lot more sense in person when you actually do it. Now, this hop-up system is going to like when you use at least a 28-gram BB. The more weight that you use with a flat hop system, the better it's going to perform. So, honestly, I go the route of like 30s, 32s. I really like 32s and 30s. But, I mean, that's going to be everything for you. That's all it is. It's really simple. There's a very, very few parts, and this is going to drastically increase, depending on the combination of bucking and flat hop nub that you use. It's really drastically going to affect how accurate your gun is and how long a range that you can reach. I see a lot of people upgrading their barrels. They spend $70, $80 on a barrel. In my opinion, that's not the way to go. This costs $20 with shipping. If you order from Evike, or I don't really know what Amazon has for this stuff, but this is really inexpensive, and it's really going to affect the way, as well, the spring to the gun, if you have a quick spring change system, upping the weight of that spring, and this are going to be the two ways to really maximize the range potential of your airsoft gun. I highly recommend this. I will never run a stock hop up again with a stock nub and bucking. And like I said, you can experiment with buckings going forward once you figure this out. And this has been Big John with Sasquatch Airsoft, and thanks for tuning in.